If you love Crusader Kings, you know the thrill of building dynasties, managing vassals, and shaping the fate of kingdoms. But what if you could take that generational storytelling and bring it to your tabletop? That's where Pendragon comes in. For those unfamiliar, Crusader Kings is a grand strategy game where you don't just rule a kingdom, you guide a dynasty through centuries of intrigue, warfare, and succession. The latest entry, Crusader Kings III, takes this formula to new heights with deep character traits, stress mechanics, and unpredictable family dramas. Crusader Kings lets you play Game of Thrones, but Pendragon, it delivers a game of the heart. It's not just about power and politics. It's about your character's personal code, their honor, and the legacy they leave behind. If you want a game where every choice tests your character's soul, Pendragon is where you need to be. If there's one thing to highlight across both games, it's the generational storytelling. In CK3, it's all about your dynasty. You're not playing a single ruler, you're shaping generations. Your rulers rise, they fall, and their traits and ambitions tend to drive every decision. It's all about surviving and thriving through your bloodline. In Pendragon, you're not just playing one of King Arthur's knights, but a legacy. Your knight's traits and passions create an unpredictable story, one that stretches across generations. As your knights age, die, and pass on their legacies, you're building a family name that echoes through Camelot's history. And if you don't like Camelot, there's options for that too at the end of this video. CK3 is all about the characters. Each ruler is a complex web of traits, relationships, and motivations that can dramatically affect the course of gameplay. The personalities of your rulers drive their decisions, and their actions can make or break the kingdom. While ambitions in CK3 are key, it's the interplay between their virtues, flaws, and how they interact with the world around them that shapes the drama. These elements work together to create messy, unexpected moments where personal desires collide with the harsh realities of ruling, leading to some of the most unpredictable and dynamic events in strategy gaming. In Pendragon, character is just as central. Your knight's passions, virtues, and vices dictate their choices, but it's not just about political power, it's about personal growth and internal conflict. Knights are bound by a strict code of honor, but how they live it, through their choices, flaws, and values, makes for a deeply personal, unpredictable journey. It's a game that celebrates the struggle of living up to your ideals, and the consequences when you fail or succeed. CK3 is all about dynastic politics. Your dynasty's future hinges on the balance of claims, alliances, and rivalries. Every decision impacts the family's survival. Marriages, heirs, and politics shape your bloodline's fate over centuries. The game rewards clever strategy and calculated decision, with every new ruler's success tied to how well you've set up their future. Failing to produce a legitimate heir can be just as disastrous as losing your kingdom to a rival. Both can lead to the collapse of your dynasty and game over. Pendragon emphasizes the importance of heirs in maintaining your family's legacy. Through the winter phase, players manage their family's growth, ensure succession, and prepare their heirs for challenges ahead. The traits and skills of previous generations are passed down. Your knight's choices have lasting consequences on their children, making heirs essential to the survival and prosperity of your house. Furthermore, when your knight passes from life, you will play their heir. Crusader Kings III is all about managing the chaos of your dynasty. While you can plan, plot, and guide your rulers, fate often throws curveballs. Unexpected deaths, betrayals, and shifting allegiances can turn everything upside down. Your ability to adapt to these twists is what drives success, as every decision and event creates ripples across your family's future. It's a game of survival and seizing opportunity in a constantly shifting world. In Pendragon, you don't just control a character, you experience their unpredictable journey. The game pushes you to embody a knight whose traits, passion, and fate of the dice roll might lead you somewhere you never expected. Your character might evolve in ways you can't plan for, making each playthrough feel fresh and full of surprises. In CK3, virtues and vices are integral to your ruler's personality. These traits influence interactions with other characters and have tangible impacts on decisions. Virtues like bravery or generosity improve relationships and bolster reputation, while vices like lust or greed can trigger scandals or rebellion. Your character's virtues and vices determine how they navigate the political landscape, but these traits also affect your dynasty, as future rulers will inherit them, affecting their rule and the family legacy. In Pendragon, virtues and vices are essential to every character's identity. Knights are defined by their adherence to a personal code, with virtues like generous, valorous, and just influencing every decision they make. Conversely, vices like selfish, proud, and vengeful carry consequences, often driving the knight towards tragedy. The game's moral weight is tied to these virtues and vices, making each choice feel meaningful and pushing players into unpredictable and deeply emotional stories. Knights don't just act, they embody their virtues and flaws, and their journey is a direct reflection of these traits. In Crusader Kings III, the way other characters feel about your character matters, so relationships are at the forefront. But it's not just the relationships, it's the distinction of what matters to your character. Perhaps it's a best friend, or a lover, or a soulmate. These are traits that you can have with other characters in Crusader Kings III. In Pendragon, these best translate to passions, whether it be a loyalty to your lord, a hatred of your rival, a love for your family, or an amour for the lady who you can't stop thinking about. In Crusader Kings III, warfare is key to managing power and expanding your dynasty. Battles are often driven by political motives, conquering new lands, defending your realm, or asserting claim. The focus is on strategy and maneuvering, with your military campaigns directly influencing your dynasty's fate. In Pendragon, warfare is a central aspect of a knight's life. Battles are where knights demonstrate their courage, fulfill their duties, and face the consequences of their actions. Whether leading troops or following orders, battles are high-stakes moments that can change the course of a knight's history. While not every knight will be involved in constant warfare, those who do find themselves in battle must navigate not only the chaos of the field, but the personal cost of victory and defeat. Each conflict has immediate consequences, from the permanent wounds they take to the death of family and friends. I truly think these games are close in goal in many cases, and given the age of both game lines, it wouldn't blow my mind if the game designers were influenced by one another through the years. Now you're here because you like Crusader Kings. I'm going to make the assumption that you want to play a generational role-playing game through the ages. At the time of this recording, Pendragon 6th edition is still being released, and the Game Master's Guide isn't quite out yet, which might solve some of these problems. But to play a generational game, you can look to the past to find the answers for what you need. To play a game long-term, I would recommend picking up the following books: Pendragon, the Book of Sires, the Book of Uther, and the Great Pendragon Campaign, as well as the Pendragon Core Rulebook, 6th edition. This will give you well over 100 years of play, allowing you to play through multiple generations of your dynasty. To keep this feasible for a real-life balance, you might consider running only 2 sessions per in-game year maximum. This will allow for better passage of time. Otherwise, you risk making aging rolls in real life. And if that joke didn't land, play Pendragon and it will, I promise. For Crusader Kings, it's not just about playing through generations. It's about playing a ruler. For that, I have several more recommendations. Pendragon aims to start you off as either a vassal knight or a household knight, the least level of playing landed characters as possible. If you want to start at the bottom and work your way up, that is easily doable in Pendragon. But you might consider playing the son of barons, counts, earls, and dukes. To do so, you'll want to pick up 5th edition's Book of Estate and Book of Warlords for expanded rules on playing lords in Pendragon. Though beware, it comes with additional administration. Some of you have been waiting since the beginning of this video to find out how do you remove King Arthur from Pendragon. It's actually more simple than you think. You can always take the route of simply moving the game further away from King Arthur's direct realm of control. Move it to Ireland, Move it to northern Scotland, move it to the mainland. That's one option. But you might want to go a bit further if you want to do something more historical or of your own liking. One of the simplest ways to do this is to pick up the game Paladin, which is based on the same rules as Pendragon, but it's set in the reign of Charlemagne. There's definitely a core audience of Crusader Kings III fans that love the landless wandering nobles. If you want to play a Pendragon game like that, it's easy enough to do. You want to start as commoners, esquires, or mercenary knights, people without land, and then from there you can go where you want to go. I'd recommend the Book of Knights and Ladies from the previous Pendragon edition, which will help you flesh out those concepts as they have those based in that book. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. If you'd like to learn more about how to play Pendragon, check out my Pendragon in 3 minutes video. It'll give you a pretty good summary of how the game generally works. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, look out for more videos as part of this series in the future. Thanks for your time.